Hi guys. So today I want to talk about a reasonable perspective for a person to talk about the Israel, Gaza, Lebanon type situation. And I want to make this video pretty quick. Uh, so when you're discussing it and you're coming from a left-wing humanist perspective, I think it's important to recognize I hope it's important to recognize that that humanity, that a humanist perspective is to always focus on life. Okay, so what that means is there should never be any kind of apologia towards things like October 7th, right? But at the same time, I think it is super important to acknowledge the disparity between the amount of death and destruction that a group of people like Hamas have committed to Israel compared to what Israel has done to the Gaza or Lebanese people. Same goes with Hezbollah. And I think when discussing these things, it's important to separate the actions of militant groups or governments from the individual people who are affected. Additionally, I think that ethnic cleansing and genocide should never be acceptable. So obviously, that would mean with what Israel is doing to the Gazan people, um, that would, in my opinion, be defined as ethnic cleansing. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who share a lot of my perspectives when it comes to the Israel-Gaza situation, who well, okay, there's not a lot, but there is a small number of people who believe that Israelis should not exist. And I think that that is also wrong. Okay. I think that when you're discussing such horrible and crazy topics like we are right now, consistency is important. So while I think myself and many people who are share perspectives similar to me would probably agree that the way Israel is created and the history of Israel has been marred by blood and is a settler colonial project, we can also acknowledge the fact that there have been people who have lived in Israel for generations who were born even in Israel. And I know people like this myself. Um, you can't forcibly remove people from their homes when they've been there generationally. Of course, that should be told to the Israelis. You know what I mean? Um, but that goes both ways. Of course, there are situations like in the West Bank where there is more recent, um, even under Israeli law, illegal occupations, but definitely under international law and under um, any normal definition of law, that should not be acceptable. And in those situations, I think it is okay to expect that people who settle in these regions, and they're talking about potentially settling in Gaza in the future, and I think it is important for us and for everybody in the world to put pressure on them to cease doing that. And I think that it would be reasonable for them to leave. More than reasonable, I think it should be the only um, reasonable response is for them to leave the places they are illegally occupying. The other thing is that just because what Israel is doing and is wrong doesn't mean what Iran or the Houthis or any of their proxies are doing is right. Okay, terrorism is not an acceptable thing. Okay. In addition to that, Iran is a theocratic regime that is evil and should be remembered for being evil, for subjugating their people, for creating terrorism across the Middle East and even across the world, and that should not be forgotten either. I think a humanist perspective is that theocracy has no place in this world. So there's a lot of um, there's a lot of alignment with religious belief in the Israeli government as well. I know a lot of people would like to define them as a Western democracy of sort. I don't personally think that is a great and accurate statement myself, especially when you have things like apartheid based off of your religion slash ethnicity. Um, yeah, so like I think the overarching belief in this video is that you should be consistent with your beliefs. And I think that whenever I see people argue or I watch media, there is people seem to move around their positions based off of the specific group of people they're talking about, and that is wrong, and it does not help the situation, okay? So at the end of the day, theocracy is wrong. Um, Anti-human, anti-humanitarian behavior is wrong. Terrorism is wrong. Settler colonialism is wrong. Ethnic cleansing and genocide is wrong. Okay, it doesn't matter who perpetrates it. It is just wrong. That's it. Thank you.